October 1983, deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, a trio of experienced cave explorers set off into the unknown, unaware that their journey would become a fight for survival in America's most dangerous caving system. Mark Walker, the leader, had explored caves across the globe. Lisa Grant, an expert in mapping and tight spaces, was known for her agility. David Black, the newest member, was still learning the ropes but had a thirst for adventure. Together they formed what they thought was an unstoppable team. Excitement and adrenaline filled the air as the team meticulously checked their ropes, backpacks, supplies, and climbing gear as they prepared for a journey that would take them into a very cramped and largely uncharted caving system, leading 2,000 feet underground, and with an anticipated 3 days of underground journey. They would exit the caving system from a small hole in the ground approximately 1 mile to the east. The Devil's Witch Cave was discovered in April 1528 by Spanish explorer conquistador Pánfilo de Narváez, who arrived on the west coast of Florida with a fleet of 5 Spanish galleons and took an expedition of 300 men into the Appalachian Mountains looking for gold and other riches that they believed were hidden by the natives in underground caving systems. After encountering hostility from Native American tribes they transcribed as Appalachians, they retreated to the coast where Narváez was swept out to sea on a raft and never seen again. After 8 years and many ordeals, only 4 survivors lived to reach Spanish forces in Mexico. There is speculation that the bodies of several members of Narváez's expedition might still be trapped in the narrow passageways within the Devil's Witch Cave, or that Narváez named the cave, originally transcribed as Diabolisa, or female devil, to discourage looters, and that he had hidden treasures, weapons, and supplies from the ships in the caves. The team ventured deep into the cave, navigating wet tunnels and treacherous slippery rocks. Water rushed beneath their feet, making every step more dangerous. The air was damp, cold, and the walls, slick with moisture, threatened to swallow them whole. At 1 p.m., they reached a particularly tight section, the Hell's Vein. The passage was only a few feet wide, but it sloped straight down, creating the perfect trap for anyone caught in its grip. As they worked their way down the narrow passageway, David Black became trapped in a bend that left his body in the shape of a horseshoe. His body lodged in a narrow space, blocking the only way back to the surface.
I can't move. I can't get out.
The other 2 explorers tried desperately to free him, but the more they pushed, the tighter the tunnel seemed to become, and time was running out.
David, stay calm. We're going to get you out of there.
As minutes turned to hours, the temperature in the cave dropped to 30 degrees. The team fought hypothermia, and ice-cold water flowed relentlessly through the narrow passageway. Unfortunately, they didn't inform anyone of their expedition, and nobody knew where they were. Mainly because the Devil's Witch Cave was closed by a city years ago after a cave explorer went missing, and technically they weren't supposed to be there. The city had caved in the main entrance with explosives, but the team had found a new way in, a small crevice between 2 large rocks that led to a large room. And then, from the darkness, something else emerged. A dangerous creature hiding in the cave's shadows, a crocodile, drawn by the sound of movement. As the crocodile attacked, David was helplessly trapped in the tight space. The creature mauled David relentlessly. David screamed as Lisa pulled on his body, her muscles burning with fatigue. After a few minutes, David stopped screaming and lost consciousness.
We've got to get him out of there. It's killing him.
Pull harder. It's now or never.
Lisa pulled one last time, and to her surprise, David's body came loose from the rocks.
I got him. I got him out. Just keep pulling. We've got to move him down the passage.
As the passageway widened, Blood flowed through the water. Lisa screamed in horror as she realized she was only pulling on the upper torso of David's lifeless body.
Ah! No! He's dead! Mark, he's dead!
His mangled hips and legs were barely holding the crocodile back as it dug and squirmed, trying to move towards them.
We've got to get out of here, Lisa. That thing is still coming for us.
No, we can't leave him!
We've got to. We don't have any choice.
With David lost, the team was forced to push forwards into the unknown. They crawled deeper into the unmapped cave system, unsure where they were heading, but knowing they had no choice.
We need to keep moving. Find another exit.
Their only hope was to find an alternative exit before the situation became more dire. By 4:30 p.m., they had descended into a network of winding passages. The walls became tighter, their backpacks and gear were now burdens to them. The team gathered the most critical supplies, some spare batteries, water flasks, and 2 bags of beef jerky.
You got everything?
Yeah. Our gear will be much lighter now.
Okay, let's move.
Then tragedy struck again as Mark, trying to cross a dangerous crevasse, slipped on the slippery moss and fell into a pit. His body was impaled on a large stalagmite. As he struggled and screamed in pain, a nest of dangerous coral snakes slipped out from under a large boulder. The snakes were everywhere, hundreds of snake bites in mere seconds, as they covered his helpless body. Mark was still alive, but time was running out. Lisa could only watch in horror as he was consumed by the venom. Mark's skin broke out into large swollen lesions. Within minutes, Mark was dead. By 6 p.m., Lisa was the last remaining explorer. Alone, terrified, and the oxygen levels in the cave were growing dangerously low. She crawled through the darkness, with her headlamp dying, leaving her in total blackness. Mark was carrying the spare batteries, and their backpacks and supplies were now hours behind them. In the suffocating darkness, Lisa began to hear voices, whispers, murmurs, as if the cave itself was alive.
I came for the one. It's you. It's you. It's you. You will be okay. You know I came for you. It's you. And I came for you. It's just you.
Her body screamed for rest, but there was no time to stop. She pressed on, hoping against hope that help would arrive. But the cave had one final nightmare in store for her. At 7:30 p.m., a final catastrophe struck. A pile of boulders dislodged from her movements, trapping Lisa in the darkness. Lisa knew her ribs were broken when she heard the snap of her bones. Her breathing grew shallow under the weight of nearly 400 pounds of rock. She laid in the darkness for several hours, eventually hearing the distant sound of rescuers moving towards her and their blinding headlamps.
Just hang in there, Lisa. We'll have you out of here and back on the surface in no time.
The rescuers worked for several hours, each one working in shifts one at a time to remove the rocks and bring them back down the tunnel.
Yeah, this is Paul. I'm coming up the tunnel now.
Eventually, they were able to free her body. Lisa dragged her body following the men for 30 minutes to reach the surface, where she was taken to a hospital by a medevac helicopter.
Let's go, let's go. Get her in the helicopter. No time to wait.
Luckily, a hiker had reported an abandoned vehicle near the entrance earlier that day. A rescue team was able to follow the guide ropes and cookies left by a team, and from there estimate the most likely routes. The remains of David Black were recovered a few days later in pieces. Most of his body had been eaten by the crocodile, and his bones had been snapped in half by its powerful jaws. The city decided it was too dangerous to go after the body of Mark Walker. His remains are permanently buried within the cavern in a nest of coral snakes. The Devil's Cave remains a grim reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the ground surface. Their final expedition, a tragic tale of courage, ambition, and ultimately lost survival. When interviewed in 2010, Lisa Grant said she was interested in returning to the cave one day to retrieve the remains of Mark Walker, to return them to his family for burial services, but in 2018 she passed away. In the world of cave exploration, there are those who disappear into the darkness and those who live to tell their story.